Hey guys, Prince of Macedon here, doing a Rome Total War online battle. This is the Macedon versus Parthia battle. I command the Macedonians, and my opponent is Achilles of the IMperialMalice clan. It seems like every time I make a game, one of these guys always joins. Which is fine with me, because I have a very pleasant experience with these guys. They're very friendly. Alright, let's go look at my army first. I have a Companion Cav and Greek Cav. And then the bulk of my army, I have a 50-50 ratio of Royal Pikes and Phalanx Pikemen. And I split them up. And you can see right now I'm taking fire from his horse archers. But we'll show you those guys in a second. Let's finish my army. Right here, these guys are all hidden. I have 6 units of archers, and here I have the remainder of my pikemen and my Royal Pikes. And they are also hidden. My strategy here was that my opponent would see my archers firing without support, but at the last second I would take my pikemen and bring down the sarissas, and that will surprise my opponent. Alright, let's go look at my opponent's Parthian army. Here, my opponent did not know that the rules were CWB, so he made a non-CWB army, but that's fine. My opponent has 6 squadrons of cataphracts, and that's where his general's at. And then he has 11 units of Persian Cav. And he's been shooting at my Royal Pikes since the beginning of the battle, and he's shooting my lead element right here. Here I'm running up the hill, and I'm trying to trick my opponent into crashing into my hidden line of pikes and archers. But he's going to keep shooting at my Royal Pikes here with his missiles. Anyways, the reason why I wasn't too mad about my opponent using that army is because this map is not very conducive for horse archer spam. See all those trees and see all these hills? It's not good for horse archer spam. So I wasn't too upset that my opponent made this kind of army. Plus, he didn't see me say CWB. Sometimes the GameSpy doesn't let you communicate very well. Anyways, my opponent has run into my first set of archers. I've got 2 of them who just came out of hiding, and now they are exchanging fire. And I don't really expect my archers to do very much against those Persian Cav, but I do expect them to hold their attention for a bit. And I'm hoping that it'll hold his attention long enough for him to bring up the rest of his cataphracts and make a run for my unsupported archers, who are actually supported by those hidden Phalanx Pikemen and Royal Pikes. And right here, this is my first set of my army here. And I really meant for my opponent to chase me up this hill. And by doing so, he might have fallen into my ambush and then laid at the bottom of the hill. So it was kind of a Robin Hood ambush. And I really wanted to win the girl at the end. But I soon realized that there aren't any girls on this battlefield. Alright, back to my archers who are in action against these Persian Cav. We're going to take a close-up here, and we're going to see how poorly they're doing right now. But again, this wasn't really their mission. Their mission wasn't to kill this Persian Cav. The mission was just to hold them, and hopefully induce my opponent to launch a foolhardy bonsai charge into my archers, who, as I said, were well supported by hidden pike units. So my opponent is raining arrows on my men, and here I withdrew some of my archers. And once again, this is me trying to lure my opponent into my first line of archers and pikes. So I'm going to draw these guys behind my first line here. And my thinking here was, even if I don't sucker my opponent, that means I can still waste his arrows, which I'm doing right now. And without arrows, those Persian Cav aren't as effective as they should have been. And plus, they're getting tired by running in the Canterbury circle. Alright, so he killed my first set of archers. And we can hear his guys celebrate here. Well, kind of. They were celebrating. Alright, so he is going to redeploy his army into a new firing position. So he's bringing his first set of Persian Cav to one side, and the other set of Persian Cav to the other side. With this first side, he's going to hit my other archers, who he saw, but he didn't see the rest of my army hidden there. So his other set of Persian Cav, they are going up this hill, and we are going to see what he's targeting now. There's his arrows, and you can see that he's targeting my general unit right here. So it looks like the Persian Cav is going to make my guys fight in the shade. But just like the Spartans, Macedonians also like to fight in the shade, especially my general. See all that shade right there? That's a lot of shade. Okay. So, what's going on? It looks like my guys are still trying to bait my opponent. And right now, this is just the attritional phase. My opponent's exchanging fire with my archers. Well, right now, my archers are trying to hide. But it's too late because the Persian cav already sees them. So, even if they're hiding, they're still within range. And they can still be seen by the enemy. But the Persian cav have very excellent range. Alright, so now my guys stand up. There we go. Now they're going to exchange fire with the Persian cav. And it's at this point in the battle where my opponent decides to mobilize his cataphract force. So here comes 6 squadrons of cataphracts. And only one of them is upgraded. But here they come. They're going to push forward. And this is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that my opponent would think that my archers right there were unsupported. So I'm hoping to give my opponent a nasty surprise. So here's my pikes, they are ready. They're probably thinking, wow, we're going to kill a bunch of cataphracts. But we'll see what happens. His cataphracts stop for a second. And he's going to think about it. And now he's going to charge. And right here, I don't know if my opponent's incredibly lucky or what. But as my guys become unhidden, his guys are already aimed at the one spot in my army where there are no pikes. So that was a very lucky charge by my opponent. It could have been so much worse for him. But he decides to crash into the flanks of my loose formation royal pikes. But he does not want to fight this kind of battle, so he's going to withdraw. And he does take some losses there from my archers and from my pikes. And when I see this guy's running, I've already got my cavalry coming out to chase him. So I don't want those cataphracts getting away. So if I can destroy those cataphracts, that'll pretty much destroy his army. Without the cataphracts, his Persian cav don't really have a base of operations to maneuver around. So I'm bringing up my hidden force of archers and pikes, and also all of my horses. This is my general leading the way. And we see this one lonely squadron of cataphracts. And I want to destroy them before he unites them with the rest of his cataphracts. But when I see his cataphracts moving again, I decide to withdraw. And then I'll reform and strike again. And as he's going for my horses, he runs into my royal pikes right there. So now he's caught in a fight that he doesn't want to fight. He can fight my horses, alright, but not with the support of my pikemen. So my pikes are going to rob my opponent of his advantage here. So that's going to cause a rout in his ranks. Plus we killed his general.
Fear makes a home in our enemy's hearts.
So I'm going to take my Greek cav, and I'm going to chase down these routed cataphracts. And whenever I can, I always use my lighter cav to chase down routing units. I don't want to use my heavy cav for that purpose. And over here, my opponent saw what was happening to his cataphract, so he decided to do an all-or-nothing charge with his Persian cav on my royal pikemen. So what you see here, this isn't really insanity. This is him coming to grips with what happened to his cataphract force. So he would not have done this if that didn't happen to his cataphracts. But as I said, it really did happen. So he's going to keep charging. And he lost a lot of horses in this manner. He probably could have continued the resistance by using hit and run with his Persian cav. But as I said, without those cataphracts, it's kind of hard. And plus, I'm sure all of his horses are tired after all that running and shooting. And they probably don't have that many arrows left to begin with. Alright, so I see some of his Persian cav. They stopped routing, and I'm going to try to finish them off with my horses who came back from the hill. So that's going to rout them. And that's pretty much all of his cav, except for, I think he has like 2 more squadrons. And one of them is right here, and they're being routed by my royal pikes. And the other one, he has 1 left, and they're going for a rear charge on my royal pikes, or on my phalanx pikemen right here. So here's my guys, minding their own business, and then they get charged from behind. Anyways, this is the Illyrian Valley map, and the reason why I picked this is because Illyria was one of Macedon's old stomping grounds. Like, one of the things that Macedon did do for the rest of Greece is that they kept the barbarians out of the rest of Greece, because in order to get to the southern part of Greece, they had to go through Macedon, and the Illyrians were one of those opponents. Anyways, that's a clear victory. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Good game to my opponent, Achilles.